Shahab Zargari is an award-winning Iranian-American filmmaker and administrative faculty member of the UNLV College of Fine Arts. After years of creating original short-form streaming content, Shahab made his directorial debut with the Philip K. Dick adaptation The Crystal Crypt in 2013, an official selection of the San Diego Comic-Con International Independent Film Festival. He continued to hone his craft, creating original films, music videos, and a multitude of commissional works. Shahab's short films My Name is Art in 2018 and Oh the Guilt in 2021 garnered a dozen awards from a variety of prestigious festivals, including official selection to America's inaugural All Voices Film Festival, a digital festival celebrating underrepresented communities. Currently, the docu-dance short, the UNLV Showa Project, is making rounds in the film festival circuit. We are very excited to welcome Shahab this morning and talking about filmmaking. So I will give the floor over to Shahab.
Hello, thank you, Amy. You rock. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. I do have a few disclaimers. So first, this is not going to be about filming technique, and this is not going to be film theory. So we're not going to analyze anything. Rather, the talk is designed to clear your cobwebs and inspire you to start thinking about your next video. Disclaimer number two, I'm going to be sharing a few stories as video examples today. One thing to note there, I will not be using the share screen button. What I will be doing is I will be putting the links to each example in chat. So for those of you that might have trouble going between YouTube and Zoom, I apologize, but this way the videos will load and you can watch them without any awkward streaming buffering. And then, I'll give everyone the 1 to 2 minutes to view these, and then we'll all come back to Zoom where I can resume the talk. And it is kind of set up almost like a TED Talk, but what I'll do is I'll go through my talk, we'll look at the examples together, and then I'll open it up to questions from there. I will be starting with a video from my portfolio, and I will end the same way. But I didn't want this to be Shahab hour. So all the other video examples will be work by other professionals. And hopefully it will get your creative juices flowing. Now, I can't very well start a talk on storytelling without a story, right? So flashback, it was the year 2010. The Luxor Casino, they were in the market for a brand new video. It was a time where City Center hadn't opened yet. MGM was gearing up to open that. Cosmopolitan hadn't opened yet. And yet all of MGM Mirage's money and marketing dollars was going towards City Center. So the older casinos, Mirage, Luxor, they were kind of, last in line for turnaround times of, in-house video teams and all of that. So somehow I got into the same room as the VP of marketing, and what we pitched was a 3-video series. Out of that pitch, one of those got made. As a part of the agreement to get this thing made, what we did was we sold them on the really fast turnaround time, so about 1 to 2 weeks from pre-production, production, and delivery, but also 12 months free of licensing of the song. The creative brief was basically, let's show that's a theme park hotel type mindset. Let's show those people that think that what the Luxor is now, right? Is it even the same Disneyland type attraction that you remember? So the winning pitch involved a group of friends visiting a hotel, checking in, having a blast, hitting all the hot spots, rooms, shows, restaurants, bars, clubs, all of it in like a dreamlike montage. When the dream sequence ends, the receptionist says, "Mr. Montana, welcome back." That moment gives the viewer the notion that the reason these guys are staying at theme park, Luxor, it's not because they're dreaming of things to come, but because they are remembering the amazing time they had at their last visit.
Sometimes my mind slowly drifts away, wondering if you wanna come play.
Yo, you're up.
Oh,
Welcome to Luxor.
I have a reservation for Alex Montana.
Mr. Montana, one moment, please.
I'm getting faded with Lindsay. Hollywood lights and I'm causing a frenzy. Somebody call Paris, let's meet at the Luxor. The superstar suite, now that's something to tweet. I'm everything you need, girl, let me feel your whirlwind. Swayze called Cisco, the Cisco called Kate. The California girl that Mr. Travi can't shake. Got the ladies going gaga, baby, I'm a fly guy. Stay low-key, watch them all fly by. But I'm cooler than you, like Mike Posner, boy. Send me kisses through the phone like Social Boy. Da-da-da, walking on water. Nah, like you, they're just a son or a daughter. I'm a David Blaine, yeah, change the whole game up. It's still the spotlight like they did Sometimes my mind slowly drifts away. Drift away, drift away. Wondering if you wanna come play. Come play, all together now. I just want you to know your love's like magic.
Mr. Montana, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
First class flight, but my pockets are empty. I'm shooting out to Vegas, about to kick it with 50. And Puff is there too, but he's
Cool. So they say a goldfish has an average attention span of 9 seconds, which seems to mirror the current average attention span of the modern day human. This is not surprising given the abundance of smartphones, social media, streaming content. And so if over the past 2 to 3 years, video has become the most consumed media online and on mobile phones, then why have certain brands moved away from short form video and doubled down on branded films? It's because storytelling is ingrained in how our minds process information, and whether or not you have a short attention span, if a story is presented in the right way, your mind will stay tuned in. So this next example, it's essentially a documentary that was made about Jason Momoa. It's 10 minutes long. It's got millions of views. And in fact, it's not really a documentary at all. It is a commercial for Carhartt clothing.
You on stage, buddy?
Ben Affleck, woo! Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher, Ezra Miller, and Jason Momoa.
Ever since I was a little boy, I always wanted to be a father. But never in my life did I ever think that I would be an actor. I was raised in small-town America, surrounded by hard work, cornfields, and pigs. My uncles and grandfather were the hunters and builders of the Midwest. I was raised by a strong, single mother. My mom's an artist in every way. She's a painter, a photographer, she's a wanderer. Always searching, always seeing. I guess you could say my mom gave me her eyes. My mom introduced me to skateboarding and rock climbing, and I absolutely love her for that. Because skateboarding, it gave birth to a style for me. It wasn't just the skating, it was the music, it was the crew, the underground. Architecture was forever changed. You wouldn't believe how much fun you could have on a curb. And climbing, it made me face my fears and my doubts, explored the impossibles, problem solved through movement. I learned to trust my hands, find my feet, and I found balance, and I found my passion. I wanted to see the world climbing. I craved the road, the wild. I wanted to get out, explore it all. Camping, fires, playing music, telling stories, living in the dirt, eating crackers and sardines. I was a dirtbag. There's not a care in the world. I packed up my life and I put it on my back. Free to wander. Everywhere, from Tibet to France, Italy, Japan, everywhere USA. My travels made me a student of life. Somehow that path led me to a crossroads. And at the end of that road, acting cornered me. She seduced me. For an anxious young man, it finally allowed me to be anything that I wanted to be. The wanderlust gave way to direction and purpose. I could be a barbarian or a bartender. I could be a savage call or the king of Atlantis. 19 years I've been doing this. I'm an actor, I'm a director, I write and I produce. I found my path. I'm a craftsman. My craft is storytelling. And then it happened. She came. My muse, the love of my life. My partner in crime. I fell stupid, crazy, madly in love with her. My wife gave me 3 beautiful, feral kids. Zozo Bear, Lola Bear, my lovey, and the wolf. And with them, my dreams finally came true. I'm a father. I found my place, my home. And like any father, we want our children to see us doing what we love. But now, my passion for storytelling pulls me away for long periods of time. And that scares me. The nomadic lifestyle that once inspired me, it now takes me away from the things that I love most. My ohana, my family. I'm afraid of what I'm gonna miss. The laughs, the cries, being able to help them, teach them. I don't want to miss those moments. If I think about it, I only have 5 more years, 5 summers, and I'm not the center of their universe. I decided to surround my children with who I am, with music, painting, all my art forms. Because if I teach them to skate, then they can surf or snowboard. Ultimate balance, bold and brave in any terrain. And if I teach them to climb, then they can push themselves to the limits, gracefully move through fear and doubt. To learn respect for our natural resources. Because if they can admire nature's truest colors, then they can begin to see the beauty in all things. To be aware of those inconspicuous and overlooked details of life. I want to give them my eyes. They will know art. They'll paint, they'll sculpt. They'll understand light and darkness and composition to find their soul. And that's where the music lies, the soul. You teach them to play, Because if they can play, they can sing. And if they can sing, then they can dance. And when you dance, you celebrate. It is all connected. These lessons will teach them expression of self. And if I build it, then I can teach them hard work, dedication, integrity, a moral code. Now every time my children play, they can feel that their papa is always with them. Since the moment I left my mother's house, to the moment that I built a home with my wife, from the ultimate highs to the lows that brought me to my knees, there has been one constant. Something that stayed with me through all of this. Like a home on the road, a comfort disguised as armor. I see it every time that I look down at these tattered old pants. It's my battlefield. From the paint to the stitches. Every scratch, ding, laugh, and cry is recorded in these pants. Every mark is a memory. Every tear adds up to the life I always wanted to live. Everything I am is in these pants. And there will come a day when I'll be gone, and my children or my grandchildren, they will find these beat up old Carhartts in a dusty corner somewhere. And they will know this is the canvas of my life.
So, you know, as that faux documentary goes on, it really becomes a film about Jason's, you know, upbringing, but also about him raising his sons. It's really heartfelt. You know, obviously they're banking on the star power. But if you noticed, every single shot, the t-shirts, the hats, the beanies, the belts, like everything was Carhartt. So it was almost like one of those subliminal message kind of things. But the reason that video is currently clocking in at over 2.5 million views is because nature has programmed humans to seek out and make meaning of events, whether fictional or non-fictional. So while it is true that attention spans are shorter than ever, what this means is this: when our brains are bombarded with massive amounts of messages with no structure, no story, our brains simply turn away, searching for more meaningful content elsewhere. So I'm going to share 3 videos now. We'll kind of go back to back here. These were all at one point in time Super Bowl commercials, which usually, you know, it's either super crazy and weird or they really do double down on story. There's a Motorola tablet commercial that I just thought was brilliant. Extra gum, which always makes me cry, this one. And then Intel had a new processor, and this video that they created called The Chase was mixed medium and just an unbelievable use of fast-paced editing technology, but coupling it with almost like a spy story. So kind of watch them back to back here, and then we'll come back.
shall I stay? Would it be a sin? Oh, if I can help falling in love with you. Oh, like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Won't take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Oh, for I can't help falling in love.
Give extra, get extra.
With you.
Experience visually stunning performance like never before. Only with the second-generation Intel Core i5 processor.
Absolutely love the Motorola one. They doubled down on, you know, this whole future dystopia. Even when he's on his tablet, he he's reading George Orwell's 1984. Everyone's, monotone, and he, utilizes the apps to get her attention. And she finally, takes out the earbud extra. I mean, that not only was it brilliant in terms of storytelling, but it was really conducive to different types of spots, right? So you could literally make a 15-second spot out of it. You can make a 60-second spot. The full story was about 2 minutes long. That's the example I usually give people who are like, well, I'm in such and such industry, how can my brand have a story, for a commercial? That was for gum. Okay. Like that story that tugs at your heart. I mean, it, unbelievable. So, and I loved how they kept dropping hints, right? So the first half of it, you see him scribbling on the little things, but you don't know where it's going until his exhibition. Kills me every time. And then of course the chase, they utilized everything that Intel chip could do on a screen in such an imaginative way. And again, they were selling a computer chip, which, really it's computer makers who buy those. So, those examples really kind of bring home the point that in this day and age, cutting through the tidal wave of communications requires telling better stories. Jonathan Gottschall wrote in his book, The Storytelling Animal, about the intersection of neuroscience and storytelling. And he says, the human mind yields helplessly to the suction of story. Let me say that again. The human mind yields helplessly to the suction of story. Just like that one cousin you have that makes up all kinds of interesting tales, our brains create stories out of everything. Perhaps even you envision stories as they unfold every time you read a novel that has no pictures, right? So what happens is this. If our brains can't readily make meaning out of something, our attention will move on. The key to capturing an audience is as simple as telling a story with a beginning, middle, and end, which is, of course, the basic shape to every story: setup, conflict, resolution. Our subconscious is masterful at recognizing this pattern because that is how our brains learn. So here's another Super Bowl commercial here. This one was for Audi. This one kind of takes a comedy approach. Absolutely love it. So let's take a look and meet you back here in 1 minute.
Break it out. Let's go.
I'll get the dodo.
Scandalous. Warden, 2 boys going for a stroll.
Release the hounds.
My spleen! Now what? It didn't work.
Hit him with the Kenny G.
Oh, I love this song.
Focus.
Lancaster, no! It's a trap!
Nonsense. My father owned one. Great goodness, I've been hoodwinked.
Love that one. Hit him with the Kenny G. Oh, I love this song. But that just it is a comedic version of storytelling. But as storytellers, we can also use every sense available. This next video is by director Spike Jonze, as some of you may remember. This was a little older, so as far as the copy on YouTube, it's a little grainy, but even still, with it being grainy and not full HD, you can get the point across. So in this video, Spike Jonze utilized music, lighting, and cross-cutting simple, suggestive scenes to bring you into the commercial and make you feel bad for the product as if it were alive. Right? The most important question to ask when making a video is, why should the audience care? And so in this way, they make you care about this IKEA lamp. So here we go. This one's about a minute, so we'll meet back here in a minute.
Many of you feel bad for this lamp. That is because you're crazy. It has no feelings, and the new one is much better.
And the new one is much better. Like, it's just so good. it's simple, it's relatable. It was probably very inexpensive to create, but very, very effective. You will remember the brand and maybe even consider getting a new lamp from IKEA if you needed one. So I have one more video to share with you today. But before I get to that, I want to talk about a book that was fairly recently published, and my personal takeaways. So this is from David Aker's amazing book called Creating Signature Stories. And it's basically 3 best practices on not necessarily best practices, but 3 reasons why stories should control the videos that you create. Number 1, stories are powerful. Stories break through the distractions and content overload and make an audience take notice, stay engaged, and remember. A story can involve, it can even inspire. If you have facts to communicate, your best strategy is to find or create a story that allows those facts to emerge. Number 2, content is king and stories are the key to content. The social media audience, they're not passive. This isn't just regular old TV anymore. They are in control. So if content drives success, then the content needs to intrigue, involve, and be authentic. Facts, no matter how compelling, rarely gain the attention necessary to emerge from a crowded media landscape. Stories, in contrast, can break through, communicate, and influence. And number 3, signature stories persuade without lecturing. When a brand spokesperson presents facts, the inclination is to counter-argue, to cast doubt on the message or messenger. This wasn't the case in the 50s and 60s when, they would get Olympic medalists to sell cereal, but now, audiences are different. But a story will divert people from counter-arguing even when facts are embedded or follow the story. So the story allows the audience to deduce the message for themselves, resulting in persuasion rather than, countering facts. So like I said, I started with a video that I produced, and that one had quite a budget to it. I'm going to end with a video that I produced. This one, however, was at this thing called the Digital World Expo. It was at the Palms some years back. And I was asked to come up with something that was kind of like an interactive video session. So I essentially created this thing that was 2 sessions. On Thursday, we held a session where, essentially, if you go to an ad agency and say, we need a TV commercial, they disappear for a few weeks, show up, and now they've got all of these ideas to share with you and see which one you'd, kind of want to attack. So what happens? What happens during those 2 or 3 weeks? Well, it's brainstorming, it's, coming up with the ideas, it's honing the ideas, and then going to the client and presenting them. So in this first session, it was just a brainstorming session. We were brainstorming. We partnered up with a local Las Vegas phone app called Rummager, which later was purchased by eBay. And they were the first OfferUp. OfferUp didn't exist. All the internet had was Craigslist. And so we partnered up with them. And in this first session, I said, look, brainstorming, there's no bad ideas. Throw all your good ideas, throw all your bad ideas. And so, okay, well, this is what the app does. Give it to me. So, the people that were in the session, someone rose their hand and was like, well, what if it's garage sailing? And someone else was like, well, what if, it's a little old lady buying lingerie? Well, what about a lemonade stand? So we're putting all this stuff up on the board. And then we started to hone down and combine things together. Once that session was over, I then took that final idea that we came up with together, which coincidentally ended up being the lemonade stand idea. And I was tasked with spending 1 day to shoot it. So we had no budget, 0 budget. I used my kids as the actors. We built the lemonade stand out of cardboard. We're calling it a spec ad because it was just a low quality camera, just something that we could do. Then the second session, which happened on the Saturday, got together and showed everybody the final culmination of what came out from the brainstorm session. Once they watched it, I, essentially told the session, listen, now that you saw that, imagine what you could have done with weeks to brainstorm versus an hour. And if you had a bigger budget than $0, like imagine where this could have gone, right? And then I posed the question, did this resonate with you? Most people nodded. They were like, yeah, there was one young gentleman in the back that raised his hand and said it didn't resonate with him. And that was perfectly okay. But that is why you need to create multiple stories for your brand from multiple viewpoints that will resonate with different demographics. So here, I'm going to plop it in. This is our last video of the session. It's also about a minute, so we'll meet back here in a minute. And this is the Rummager spec ad. So that was our 1 hour brainstorm, no budget spec ad. And, the main impetus for that one was all story, no phone screen. We didn't want to show the phone screen. We didn't want to show them pushing the app, going through the app. No. What is it? You know what? It's basically like garage sailing, but on your phone. She's completely ignoring these kids, gets a tea kettle, then she finds a dress, then she finds a sun hat, and all of a sudden, now that she's satisfied and has change, she uses that change to buy lemonade. And so again, as far as the camera quality and editing and, actual story with larger budget, with more time to kind of hone what that story could be, that would have just been better and better. So that's essentially my talk today. Regardless of whether you sell widgets or tractors or, walking tours or whatever it is you do, there is a way that you can create a story. And those stories will cut through all of the white noise that's out there.